I think this generation has got it twisted. God sent us a message, and I think that we missed it. He said, abandon the world and run to the cross. But when we experience loss, we run to the blunt, the bottle, forgetting the cost. Putting our identity in the number of likes on Instagram, girls began thinking their worth is found in a man, piling on makeup and showing off their butts in front of a cam. When did we forget that a man has offered us forever, a promise to bask in his beautiful treasure? He calls us his own, a love too wide, too deep to measure. Yet we flee from his love, saying it's uncool or we're unworthy. So we run from his arms into a 5-inch screen, seeking solitude in people who only care about themselves and their needs. Instead of real relationships, we fall in love over direct messages, caring less and less about the Messiah who was resurrected, confusing love for lust while forgetting the latex. Everybody is so obsessed with being savage. What happened to being tender and compassionate? Nowadays, people only care about themselves. No one is interested in serving people anymore. It's a waste of time. Instead of helping the poor, we bathe in self-pity, thinking we're disprivileged while other people are living on a penny. We think loyalty has become lame. Instead of forgiveness, we place hate and shame. Now you'll see middle schoolers with self-harm because no one told them about the man with the nail in his arm. Now, I don't mean to be rude, but some people are just becoming crude, seeking revenge and not dealing with what's within. Pray a little girl doesn't kill herself because of something you said in 140 characters or less. We all succumb to such a low level that we can't even think about Jesus, when that's what we really need. Instead of sitting around smoking weed, why don't we wake up and see that this message, it's urgent. It's the most important decision you will ever make in this lifetime, because God, He is watching, and one day when you knock on his gates, he will say, "Get away! I never knew you." And you will be sent to a place called hell to be separated from the King forever because you couldn't think about what was important. You couldn't let go of the cool thing to do. You tweet about Jesus, but your heart is a million miles away. Don't say you're looking for forgiveness if you're living in sin. Don't say God will forgive you over and over again, because it doesn't work that way. Maybe we'd be more peaceful if we didn't have so much drama. You can see it all over Twitter, praying for other people's bad karma. That's why we get lost in translation and things get confused, because we have learned how to build up walls and not how to let love come in. We copy each other's thoughts. We can't even think one of our own. Try to have a meaningful conversation, but it turns into talking about relationship goals, which are things your grandparents would be ashamed of. We can't go a day without fighting because we are robots who don't know how to kindle peace and joy and love. And if you're searching for the meaning of this life, I can't say you'll find it in this world, because the one who has stayed true is the one who is after you. The Prince of Peace, the lover of your soul, the one who cringes every time he sees his beloved slide down a pole. We're too busy behind a screen, chasing the dream, trying to impress people who don't care. Our world revolves around material things. Maybe that's why our hearts have become so poor. Listening shouldn't involve looking down at a screen, and love shouldn't consist of a one-night fling. I wait for the day we start living right, the day we realize there is more than the 4 years in high school and our temporary high. What happened to pursuing women before it became odd, and women loving themselves for who they are and looking to God? We must make a change before we get too conceited that we look back and see Jesus was what we really needed. He offers us a life so good that nothing can compare. He reaches his hand into this sinful world and asks for your hand. He knocks on your door and begs you to open it up. He tells you he loves you. There's no way someone else can love you that much, and that he forgives you. He tells you to follow him, to lay down everything else and find a life that you don't deserve, but he wants to experience with you. He just asks you to open your arms and say, "Yes, Jesus, I am yours." We must rise up and welcome back chivalry, kindness, and truth before our kids grow up in a generation with nothing but hate. So put down your phone and just say a simple prayer. Don't take my word for it. Ask Jesus to search your heart, to rid it of all the bad and just let him in. You don't want to look back and find that you missed it. Because I promise you, the social media, the sex, the parties, none of it will matter anymore when you are separated from the Lord. So let's clean up our act, because I'm here to tell you, Jesus is coming back.